Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to The Limo Show, presented by Town Livery. And here's your host, David Bastian.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Limo Show, coming to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via the World Wide Web. My name is David Bastian, your host, bringing you The Limo Show here on Blog Talk Radio. I encourage anyone out there that's listening to the live stream to call the Limo Show hotline anytime during the show. If you have any questions for myself or our guest tonight, you can reach us at the Limo Show hotline at 714-868-0786. That's 714-868-0786. They say that membership has its privileges, and today we're not discussing Discover Credit Card, but we're discussing the benefits of participating in your local association, in your town, or national associations. No matter the what size your business is, it never hurts to talk with others in your line of work. Joining trade and professional associations is a wonderful way to do just that. Whether it's for the local chapter meetings or your annual international conference, the possibilities are nearly limitless in terms and levels of the participation and benefits. Many benefits of participating include continuing education opportunities, leadership opportunities where you can participate and be a part of boards, committees, and research groups, or professional discounts on goods and services that may be offered by affiliate members. All of the benefits I mentioned are extremely important, but the most important benefit is unity. A unified group and association and industry is able to head off at the pass issues that may arise from regulatory agencies or lawmakers that are trying to take their hand and take some of that money out of your pocket. If a situation arises, it's much easier for the association and the industry to organize and respond and represent the membership's point of view and interests. To discuss the benefits of membership in associations, I invited a special guest to the Limo Show, president of the Minority Limousine Operators of America and founder of Mosaic Global Transportation in Redwood City, California, Maurice Brewster. Maurice, welcome to the Limo Show.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show with you today.
Well, Maurice, we appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time. Maurice, you bring 33 years of marketing, sales, and entrepreneurial experience. Can you give the listeners some background about what you did before you started in the limousine livery industry?
Sure. I started my corporate career. I've always been in sales and marketing, but I started my corporate career at the DuPont Company in Wilmington, Delaware, and continued my career in major Fortune 100 companies for the better part of 22 years or so, and then transitioned by taking some of the great best practices that I learned in those companies like GTE or DuPont or MCI, and transitioned it into running my own business, Mosaic Global Transportation. We've been doing Mosaic now for 10 and a half years, and it's been a blessing to be able to be the president and CEO and founder of that organization, that company.
Now, how many vehicles do you operate with Mosaic Global Transportation, and what area, what part of California do you mainly focus your services on?
So we're headquartered in Redwood City, California, so we cover the entire Bay Area. We made a few acquisitions around the country, one in Los Angeles, one in Washington, D.C., and one in New York City. So Mosaic is operational in those four major cities. And then everywhere else, we utilize the network of friendly competitors that help us piece this national and international network that we have.
You recently helped form the Minority Limousine Operators of America, and the association recently just celebrated its first anniversary. The association has a growing membership of vendor and associate members. Our company, Town Livery, is also a vendor member. Can you share with us how this association came about?
It was something that I felt God placed on my heart, that it was needed to have some sort of a support group within the National Limousine Association supporting small and minority-owned businesses. I wanted to do something a few years back, but timing just wasn't right, especially with the economy. But a year ago or so at the LCT show, I put together a few people. We did it the old-fashioned way through guerrilla marketing and talked to women and men and minorities and Asians and Hispanics and just put it out there if somebody would be interested in maybe forming some sort of a group. And at that LCT show at the Paris restaurant, we had 22 people who showed up who had indicated some degree of interest in forming an association that was going to support minority-owned businesses. And 1 year later, we're 72, I believe, 72 or 73 members strong and growing.
Maurice, who is eligible to join this association?
The membership is open to any minority. So that would fall under the category of what the United States government calls a minority individual or a minority company. So that would be anyone who is a woman, African American, Hispanic, Native American, Native Indian, or whether from India. Even the category has been expanded to Hasidic Jews. So those form what the United States of America calls the minority groups, and any one of those individuals that fall under those categories can join. Now we have open meetings that anyone and everyone is invited to come to, but as far as membership and as far as voting, it would fall under the minority categories.
Maurice, can you share with your listeners your opinion on the benefits of joining local and national trade associations, even if they're not the MLOA?
It is probably the most important thing that a limousine company operator can do is to join a local livery association. We are a part of the Greater California Livery Association. I'm a former board member of that association, and I know the true value and benefits that those local associations bring to the operator. They fight out battles. They represent us at the state level and support us in the airports where we have tough battles sometimes against the taxi cab groups that are fighting for their positionings. We encourage everyone to be a part of a local association and to pay those dues because the monies are needed for the great work that the associations do for each and every one of us.
No doubt about it. Now, you're also a member, besides the MLOA, the NLA, you're also a member of, and I saw that you won an award recently, of another association. Can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, that's the association that certified my company as a minority owned and operated company, and that's the National Minority Supplier Development Council, which is headquartered out in New York. I'm a member of the Northern California chapter, and that chapter has over 800 minority companies that have gotten their certification, and that organization named Mosaic Global Transportation Supplier of the Year. So it's a huge honor because the association and its memberships look at what we do and how we do it, and they vote. And Mosaic came up winning awards this year in San Francisco.
And that association, what industries does it focus on?
It focuses on all industries that focus its energy and efforts that want to do business with corporate America. The NMSDC is a corporate membership organization who is aggressively looking to do business with minority-owned companies, certified minority-owned companies. And that's the key. You have to get certification.
How extensive is that process to get certified?
It's very extensive. They do a thorough background check and search on the company. They make sure that the origin or that the ownership of that organization is truly minority-owned. They check birth certificates. They check bank records. They do reference checks. They also come out and do a physical inspection before they give final approval. And then you're voted in by a board of directors that's made up of other minority-owned businesses and corporate companies like AT&T, IBM, Brocade, Johnson & Johnson. All of these companies are part of the board, and they vote you in, and then you get your certification.
That's wonderful, because that's a solid group of companies. What we're going to do, Maurice, is we're going to head off to break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion regarding associations, and we're also going to talk about the MLOA. For the listeners out there, now is the time to get on board. If you have any questions for Maurice or myself, you can reach us at the Limo Show hotline at 714-868-0786. That's 714-868-0786.
Would you like a marketing partner that not only understands marketing, but knows the transportation industry inside and out? Are you struggling to attract new customers, retain your current customers, or win back lost customers? If you find yourself saying yes to any of these questions, there's only one place to call. Call the marketing wizard of the limousine industry, Arthur Messina from Create-A-Card. Create-A-Card is the #1 supplier of business cards, marketing supplies, and promo items to the limousine industry of North America. Contact Create-A-Card today at 1-800-753-6867. That's 1-800-753-6867, so they can help transform your marketing and advertising into consistent sales-generating machines. You can also find us on the web at createacardinc.com. That's createacardinc.com.
Are you looking to add an executive L-Town car to your fleet? If you are, call Town Livery. Town Livery is a franchise Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, and BMW dealer that specializes in selling livery vehicles nationwide. Town Livery is located in Buffalo, New York, and is able to ship your vehicle to you at an affordable price. So, when you think of livery vehicles, think of Town Livery. Town Livery can be reached at 800-730-3683. That's 800-730-3683. One-stop shopping at Town Livery.
You're listening to The Limo Show on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Limo Show presented by Town Livery, heard 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Blog Talk Radio. We have Maurice Brewster, president of the Minority Limousine Operators of America and the founder of Mosaic Global Transportation in Redwood City, California, here with us tonight. And we've been talking about trade associations and the value of joining trade associations and participating. And in particular, we've been talking about the Minority Limousine Operators of America. Maurice, I have a question for you. And last night I was on the website and I was reading the mission statement of the MLOA. What is the mission statement, and if you could share that with the listeners, or the main goals that the association strives to accomplish for the membership and the industry as a whole?
The main goal of the MLOA is to educate. We want to educate other minority companies on some of the tools that are out there that will help them become successful. One of those tools, of course, being education, but a subset of education is the importance of becoming certified as a minority-owned company and the doors that that certification will open for companies like what it's done for me and what it can do for other small and minority-owned businesses.
We've spent a lot of time, or a little bit of time, talking about national associations, and in particular the MLOA, and we haven't really talked much about the NLA. Is the MLOA a member of the NLA, and how are the two associations affiliated?
We are and have now been recognized as an official association within the NLA. We are planning on being a part of the agenda for the new show in Vegas. We have our 501(c) paperwork all in place. So we are an official member of the NLA. As a matter of fact, I just received some paperwork from Patty Nelson, where she needed a few other documents here and there, our code of conduct and things of that nature. But by and large, we're an official association and member of the NLA. We participated pretty heavily last year in last year's show. We had over 20 members as a part of the awards banquet. We had 2 tables there, so we were represented there. And, of course, just our physical presence on the floor in celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
That's great. Now, you may not know this off the top of your head, but how many of the members that are part of the MLOA are NLA members?
I would say a large preponderance of our MLOA members are NLA members. As a matter of fact, one of the asks that we make is that you are a member of the NLA, and then we strongly encourage them to join their local associations as well, for the reasons that we talked about earlier in the show. To give you an exact number, I don't know it, but I have a very comfortable feeling that of the 72 members that we have, a vast preponderance of those members are NLA members. The
MLOA does hold monthly meetings, and they're the third Friday of the month, or the last Friday, Maurice?
It's the fourth Friday.
Fourth Friday of each month.
Fourth Friday of every month, and not the last, because we had our meeting last week.
That's right.
And if we said last Friday, then we would be meeting actually tomorrow. But no, it's always the fourth Friday of every month. And it's a call-in, conference call, virtual call, and we go over agenda items, pretty much the same agenda items, and then we invite special guests to come in and to present to the membership about some cutting-edge technologies or products or services that can benefit our members.
Our company has attended, I think, 3 or 4 of these meetings, and I do have to say, listeners out there, if you do listen in on one of the meetings and participate in one of the meetings, Maurice does a fantastic job at basically running the meeting. It's very informative, and it's definitely entertaining at times, especially when they start talking sports, right, Maurice? And you start busting chops about football teams, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, we're pretty proud of our San Francisco 49ers out here in the Bay Area, so. We have some fun banter in the early stages of our meetings before we get to business.
No doubt. One of the things in the meetings that I've attended, and one of the things that you mention quite frequently, is, and you mentioned this on the show today, is the importance of continuing education, especially for the membership. You're in the process of developing a continuing education program. Can you share with the listeners out there the continuing education program that you're currently working on?
Absolutely. Again, one of our key promises to the membership is that we're going to educate them. So at the last meeting that we had, I was proud to announce that the board has agreed on a formal schedule and a training schedule, and that schedule will consist of 2 webinars that we will have between now and the end of the year, and 1 physical meeting that we have agreed to have in Atlanta, Georgia, which will be sometime the first week in October. And it was real clear in polling our members what it was that was super important to them. So that physical training that we will have in Atlanta will be all about RFPs and how to respond to them.
What is an RFP, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a request for proposal. It's the official document that any major company is going to put out on the street, which is going to vet the limousine operators and go through a very detailed process of making sure that that vendor can handle the company's transportation requirements. And that document is so important, and most people think that those documents completely rely on having the lowest price. But one of the things that we're going to teach the members is that price is not the heavy weight in an RFP. It really represents, in some cases, 25 to 30% of a decision that a major corporation will make. The vast preponderance of the decision comes in how you answer the RFPs or the request for proposals. So we're going to go through a full day of training and development in teaching our membership exactly how to respond to those RFPs and the importance of taking your time and answering every question very thoroughly and to the best of your knowledge.
Now, Maurice, and you're going to agree with me on this because you've been in sales a long time, one of the first things I learned 20 years ago when I first started selling automobiles is the first thing you do is you sell yourself, and then you sell your company you work for, and then your product. But the most important thing is you sell yourself. One of the things that, and you just mentioned it, that companies make the mistake, whether it be the automobile business or the limousine business, is they focus on price. My very first sales manager one time went into a sales meeting, and he went on the whiteboard and he wrote price. And he said, guys, what does that say? And we said, price. And then what he did was he went on the board and erased the PR. And what was left? And he says, guys, what does this say? And we said, ice. And he said, guys, if you focus on price, it's like ice because it's cold. You're not selling the sizzle. You're not selling the excitement. So one of the things that he focused on in that meeting was selling yourself, selling the product, not focusing as much on price. What it all comes down to is if you can offer the customer more and be able to handle the job, and that's what you're talking about with the limousine industry, that customer will be willing to pay more for the service.
Completely agree. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're going to talk about is that the buyers really buy based on these 4 criteria, Dave. And the first one is really you. People buy from people that they like. They buy from people that they enjoy being with. They buy from people that resemble them in some form or fashion. So selling the you is more important than anything. And then selling the organization, and then selling the architecture or your network is important. And then the 4th item is price.
Exactly.
So a lot of folks get mixed up about that, and they reverse it, and they say, I'm going to go in and I'm going to lead with price. And usually when you do that, you lose.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And like I mentioned before, a customer will pay a little bit more if you're going to provide them more. At the Limousine Digest show last November, the MLOA conducted meetings and networking sessions. Are there similar events that are planned to take place at the upcoming show in November.
Yes, we finally got approval from Chris Weiss over at Limo Digest as far as what our date and time will be when we will have, again, another general assembly of our membership and any guests that want to come and join us. And that will be the Monday at 6 o'clock at the Limo Digest show. And I think our slot is actually 6:15 to 7:30. It's right in between the association meeting that they're having and the tailgate bash that has always been a favorite. So
no doubt.
That's when we'll have our time to address our members, to address people who are interested in kicking the tires and just to see what we're about. And, of course, that'll be a little time for us to do some selling and to convince them why they should consider being members of the MLOA, whether they're vendor members or they're sponsors or they're just operators that want to join in. Because, like you said, membership does have its privileges.
No doubt about it. Now, I don't know if you've planned this far in advance yet, but are you going to show up this year with a Giants jersey again?
You know, I have no intentions of showing up with a Giant jersey. The only reason I did that is because I lost a friendly bet with a friendly competitor. But you caught me off guard on that one. And if anything, I'll show up with my Niner jersey, or maybe we'll even have a surprise of having a MLOA football jersey to be able to show at the show. But no, I don't have any plans on wearing a Giants jersey.
Yeah, the first time I met you, you walked up to me and you introduced yourself, and it was one of the first things I said to you. I'm like, why are you wearing that jersey?
Yeah, you know, it hurt badly to wear that jersey, but you know what? I'm a man of my word, and I lost the bet, and the arrangement was if I lose, I got to don the jersey, and that's what I did.
Well, that's good that you are a man of your word, and even though it was painful to wear that jersey. Now, Maurice, I want to compliment you so far in the months that we've been associated with the association. I've got to say that the group as a whole has been wonderful to work with. And one of the things that I want to share with the listeners out there that maybe have not sat in on a meeting or participated at one of the events at the shows, the group of livery operators are high-quality operators. These are very, very good operators, and we are extremely proud to be able to be associated with the association and happy that we are able to participate and looking forward to more participation in the future. Maurice, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap up the show?
You know, I'd just like to throw out there that, you know, we are doing our best to support minority-owned businesses and to give them the training and development that I got at DuPont that allowed me to have a successful corporate career, and I leveraged that into having a successful entrepreneur career with Mosaic Global Transportation. That's really all we're really trying to do. And I think if we make each member better, if we make each operator better, it's better for our industry, and it's better for the operator to stay in business and have a profitable organization. And really that's all we're trying to do in supporting minority-owned businesses within the National Limousine Association.
How can a listener get in touch with you personally and find information online about joining or participating with the association like we do?
The best way to do it is to go to our website, which is www.mlooa.org. And, of course, that stands for Minority Limousine Operators of America. We had to throw that extra O in there because MLOA was taken. But that's the best way to learn more about us, to read up about the leadership of the organization. I've got four phenomenal people that help me run this organization, and they're spread out all over the country. Their bios and information is online. The application is online. And then if you need to ask any specific questions, you can click on a link, and it'll shoot an email to me or Daryl or Regina or any of the other folks that stand up as leaders of this organization.
Maurice, we have a caller on the line here. We're going to take a call from the 631 area code. Who are we speaking with? Welcome to the Limo Show.
This is Robert Cunningham from Platinum Limousine. I'm the president of the Long Island Limousine Association.
How are you doing, Robert?
I'm good.
Well,
Maurice,
thanks for calling.
I agree with a lot of things that you're saying there, Maurice. You're doing a great job. I agree with everything, and you're great. Very good that you're doing this.
So, Robert, you just recently became the president of your association. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Doug Schwartz was the past president of the Long Island Limousine Association, and I was just elected at the last meeting. And I've been on the board of directors for about 4 years. We wouldn't recommend anybody, just jumping into the president's position. We would like for you to be on the board of directors for a few years before you actually take a position like that. So nothing is new to me. I've been sitting with the same board for the last 4 years, give or take a couple of people that came and gone. But it's pretty much routine with me. I mean, we know what we have to do, and we know what we're going to do.
Now, I got a question for you, Robert. In your opinion, for the listeners out there that are listening, how important is it for someone within the limousine livery industry to join their local association or national associations?
Very important, David. Let me tell you, when you come to the meetings and you see the speakers and the sponsors that we have at our meetings to educate you, now a lot of the guys, they'll say, "Oh, gee, what are they going to tell me that I don't already know?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You may have forgotten.
No doubt about it.
Maybe you need a refresher course. Maybe you need to be informed on what's going on in the rest of the world. Some of these limousine operators, they're in their own little world. It's like living in a cave. You don't know what's going on. Now, you got to be informed of the laws. You got to be informed of the new gadgets that are coming out. We have a thing called job trade that I don't think any other limousine association has. It's fantastic. We work together in the Long Island Limousine Association. We don't call each other competitors. We call each other associates. And we call each other and trade work back and forth. If they get the call and they can't handle it, they give it to somebody who can handle it, somebody in the association. That's a benefit.
For sure, and then you get unity within the industry, and then like we talked about earlier in the show, if a situation arises, within the state, all the associations can kind of react to that situation and hopefully head it off at the pass. Yes.
We have a thing in place where you'll put something on the bulletin or the job trade, and it'll automatically get emailed out to all the members. And the last count that I got, I believe it was about 102. And we're going to try and improve that. Of course, you get with 102 different limousine companies, you're going to get 102 different opinions on how things should be. So
no
not
doubt about it.
everybody's going to agree with everybody. And that's democracy. Am I correct, David? I mean, you need that. If everybody agrees with each other, if you got 3 people in a room and everybody agrees with each other, 2 of those people are unnecessary.
No doubt. Now, Robert, question for you. Are you the guy that made Maurice wear that Giants jersey?
I want to see what he's going to be wearing at the next show.
Thanks for coming on the show, Robert.
My pleasure, David. My pleasure.
Okay, see you in November.
Yes, I will. I definitely will be there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maurice, this is a great show. Thank you for being our guest.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Like I said, I mean it. It was an honor to be asked to be on the show, and and anything I can do to promote the National Limousine Association, the local livery associations around the country, and, of course, the MLOA, I'm going to do it.
No doubt about it. We'll have a nice weekend, and thank you, Maurice, for coming on the show.
It's certainly my pleasure.
I also would like to thank you, our listeners, for taking the time to listen to The Limo Show, presented by Town Livery on Blog Talk Radio. The Limo Show comes to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Blog Talk Radio, so we encourage you to tune in and listen. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next edition of The Limo Show. Good night.